Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Lilu Nishmas Imi Morosi Rusbas Mordechai. Rabbi Isai, this is very, very touching. Here we have a picture of Yossi Klein visiting Avi Mandelbaum in the hospital. He didn't have the best news, Avi Mandelbaum. The test came back not so great. So his spirits were down. And he wrote to me this morning. He said we had an amazing time together. And he really appreciated that I came to visit. Now here you go. I want to show you a couple of videos here real quickly. One of them is long, but the last words, this is them spaziering in the hospital together, hanging out. And you have to remember, I don't know if you were part of the shir then. The shir got together and learned over 5,000 daf of Gemara, 5,000 daf for Avi Mandelbaum's refuah. And here is, listen to, it's a little long, but listen to the last words he says.
Walking out now from Avi's room. Wasn't easy. I was pink arriving while...
Hold on.
Our belly.
He says pink arriving, like he was part of English.
Avi's room. Wasn't easy. I was pink arriving while they were doing treatments, but I can tell you, how much tears in my eyes. Unbelievable to see what we saw. Avi was very big chazik, and he was very happy to see me. Baruch Hashem, couldn't believe that a Hasidic guy, pious and good, from Muncie, should come to Hadassah and Kerem, spent, I don't know what, an hour or so. I think it was more than an hour, whatever. And we basically going to visit somebody who lives in Mareshet. Crazy. MDY is a real family. A real family. A real family. I don't know, this is not normal.
All right, please see attached video of MDY Chaver Manchester Chevre doing their thing. Mendy Greenfeld, Corny Yankel Stefansky, and Henach Schwinger. He writes it with a V over here. It's interesting. We have two similar videos or things today. Here's the Chaverim, the all MDYers doing their thing.
Basically, all MDY have getting together, helping Chaverim situation l'chaim.
My name is Shaul Friedman. You can tell Yossi that I'm a chassid, and I hear the shir every day. 2 emails like that. I drive in every day from Muncie through Bar Park, do the Daf Koil, and to Daf Yomi Koil. He's a Koil guy, and I watch the shir on my way. I try to allow the shirim on the Daf on Torah anytime, and nothing compares to yours. Yes, so clear and interesting. Sometimes I hear it on the way to Koil to be clear for the learning, and sometimes I hear it on the way home for Chazari. Your shir gives me an excitement to drive in. This is from Sonachamol. His name is Shaul Friedman, a chassid. You can tell Yossi I'm a chassid, and I hear this shir every day. Here's another one from Yitzchak Friedman. I've joined the Daf with the shir since the beginning of Nedarim. I look forward to listening to it every day. I work in construction. When I have time between job sites, I listen to it. It gives me energy for the day. Thanks so much for looking forward to the Siyum. Me and my kids and daughters, that's my daughter that's 2 years old, saying good morning, Rabbi Isai, gives chiyas to the family. And you can tell Yossi Klein, it's the same lashon, and you can tell Yossi Klein that I'm a chassid, I'm a chassidush, that I am chassidush from Borough Park, and I'm not ashamed to listen to the shir. Thank you, Yitzchak Friedman. And here, Rabbi Isai, yesterday during shir, I got the message. I didn't want to tell the oilam, scare the oilam, but Mark Ashkenazi stabbed himself by mistake with a brand new knife, and he thought he had nerve damage, and he couldn't get the bleeding to stop, and his hand went like this, in the hand. He stabbed himself in the hand. I guess he was trying to see if his hand was, no, it was a mistake. It was a brand new knife. So he was in the emergency room, but this picture is amazing to me. Here are 3 Hatzalah members that are all 4 of them, including the patient, all 4 are MDYers. And he tells them, listen, I got to go on Zoom now. They said, you're not going on Zoom. We're dealing with you. And he says, you take my hand. I got to go because he is the administrator of Zoom in the morning. He said, if he's not on, a lot of people, people will bomb it or whatever they do. So he goes on there and his daughter took this picture while you can see a lot of blood on his hand. But Baruch Hashem, and listen to this. He told me, Ashgacha Pratis, and I wrote it down here, that he went to the hospital at 1 o'clock in the morning, and it just so happened to be that a plastic surgeon that his specialty is palms of hands was in the hospital for another case and took good care of him. So his mamish, left to right, RH 170, of Mark Ashkenazi, his own moifus. RH 170 Shmuel Kogus, RH 252 Morty Schwab. Oh, sorry. RH 170 Shmuel Kogus, RH 252 Morty Schwab, RH 251. Wow, they get together. CJ letter. Shkoyach. To shuckle or not to shuckle, that is the question. I would like to address the email from yesterday regarding Nachman Sal to shuckle on 2-speed. I found this mail interesting and had a different approach to the high-speed shuckler. A while ago, I was first discussed as possible to watch the share on 2-speed. I was very excited to try it out. As soon as I increased the speed, however, I immediately started experiencing what can best be described as an onset of a seizure as I watched Nachman shuckle back and forth at the same speed as a jackhammer, as it appeared on 2-speed. But the good news is that I owe him a huge debt of gratitude as I immediately put it back to regular speed and I've been watching the share at regular speed since. So Nachman, shuckle away in the best possible way that only you know how. It is keeping the rest of us from taking unnecessary shortcuts to Torah. Chazak ve'amatz, MDY's favorite, starker, sticky, shaky shuckler, Yochanan Itzkowitz. Wow. Yochanan, you're amazing. He is amazing. And Pichas Clear Copper, I stopped at my local auto repair place as they finally received the parts for my car. I'm just laughing that I had to white out his cap. Hello. You're with me? Oh, how you doing? Rebbe is in the house today. Shkoyach. What about the other stuff? I wasn't paying attention if it was on the screen now. But anyway, you see that little white dot on his cap? That's me. Because he has his phone number in big. If he loses his MDY cap, the Olam should know where to get it. It's mamish in the front. Okay. Well, waiting there, saw my cap and brought it into my office to see look what we're watching, the guy tells him at the office. And sure enough, in the car place, do you ever notice every single auto car repair shop, the office looks the same? Same papers in the same spot, the same stickers on the wall, the same everything. So they take it, copy, I don't know. Okay, fine. Shout out to High Tech Auto of Muncie. It's always small and this, and it has a certain schmack smell. The Koilel is sponsor. May we always be able to support Torah, and may the Torah protect us from any harm. The Masechta, Ein Zgulka Torah in Tuchel, Kyiakov Vi'al. What's going on here? You can't. No. Man, you can't sit there. Hello, I'm gonna sit backwards if you sit there. Like I'm confused now. Somebody get him a chair, please. I can't. I'm OCD. It's like the right is on my left, the left is on my right. The first one, the virus, but Lamaisa, we have this guy here. What's the name? Shalom Aleichem.
Neil Halpern.
Neil Halpern, the famous Neil Halpern.
Yeah, maybe.
From
Teaneck, New Jersey.
Woman, seriously, you're a doctor in Memorial?
Yes.
Oh wow. You know who he is? The top doctor in Memorial. No? I mean, you're part of the share, you're allowed to say it. Of course I am. Wow. So, I mean, I don't know if you're around, but they treated my mother. Unfortunately, there's a lot of Ashkenazic Jews there. And the chesed that goes on there, I talk about it all the time. All I remember is two Satmar ladies carrying huge bags of fresh pizza and knishes, and then the meat, and if you want milkshakes or flavor, or just parav and sal. You know what I'm talking about? Every day, unfortunately. The chesed is on.
And I contribute to them.
You do eat their food? Really? Wow. Yishkar for all the chesed you do to Klal Yisrael in the whole world. It's unbelievable. The front runner of. So you maybe be in touch with Avi Mandelbaum. Help him out a little bit. Give him some advice. All right. Wow. What a schos. The first month of art sponsored by Anonymous. I'm shaking over here. It's like having Ratam Kanevsky sit next to me. The art month, the first month of art, is sponsored by Anonymous from Lakewood. Schus for his nieces Shiduchim, and I want to thank a tremendous yishkoyach to another Anonymous sponsor that sent in money for the art. So yishkoyach Gadol Moed, we got your money in case you're wondering. This Matzah Shabbos, in other words, next year is in Yerushalayim at what time? 8 o'clock ish. 8 o'clock, and we're going to start. Having a live feed there every single morning at 7:15. When we say when Shir is here, Shir in Rechavia, MDY Jerusalem. It's called satellite. It's in Minchas Chinuch. I don't know the exact address. Kakal 50.
Kakal 59.
Kakal. Kakal 59. This is Machlokes here as usual. Kakal 59. There'll be coffee. There'll be Matzah Shabbos. There'll be Geshmak of food, waffles. What else? Don't come on Matzah Shabbos. It's better not. What? No, I'm just going once on Matzah Shabbos. We're not even starting up until the following Friday when Volume 2 starts, which we're talking about Volume 2, Rabbi and Nedarim 2. I don't want to be that Rebbe. You're going to go to Gehenim if you don't bring your friend, but you will, as we learned. If you stand on the wayside and watch your friend not learn Torah, You will go to, no, I'm not going to say it because then they'll clip it out. Do the right thing, Rabbi Isai. You have your friend. Don't be that guy. It's past nisht. I'll let Rabbi Schoenberg do it for me. Rabbi Schoenberg, how many people did he bring to this year? I don't want to put you on the spot in front of everybody. I might have to knock you out of Vora Merkaz if you didn't. Huh? He keeps them. Excuses. Mendy, I don't want to hear those excuses. You also keep people. Did you bring this month? No, so you're not getting a free Gemara. Okay. Zok to the Heilige Gemara. Rabbi Isai, just real quickly, what?
Yes.
What yes? Shalom Aleichem, Reb Guest. What are you doing in that corner? What's your name? Brenner. From? Gershon Brenner? From Petach Tikva. Shalom Aleichem. Welcome. No, he's not. I recognize him.
A few days here. He's already here.
Fourth cycle of the daf. Beautiful. Rabbi, so we have a lot to accomplish today. Yes. He's not a guest. He was here yesterday. Okay. Real quickly, I just want to show you on the screen. If you can see, if somebody wants the Shechina to be on him, what does he do? There's 4 things he could do, and this explains why perhaps I myself don't have the Shechina. There's 4 Nevi'im, we're going to learn today, 4 Nevi'im that were very, very wealthy. Does anybody know who they are? And what happens if a shver is in a big fight with a future son-in-law? Could that son-in-law marry his daughter? So we're going to learn today. Huh? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's a good point. Fine. Let's see the sugya. We're like 13 lines down from the top of Lamed Zayin Amud Beis. De Omar, like in the middle of a line. De Omar Avika Bar Oven Omar Rav Chananel Omar Rav. Rav says, we're talking about taimim, the niggin that goes together with the pasuk. Is it deraisa, not deraisa? So it says like this: My dechsiv. This is a pasuk in Nehemiah talking about Ezra. Vayikru basefer Torah Elikim. They read from the sefer the Torah of Hashem. Mefoirash. V'soim seichel. Soim, I don't know what the lashon is exactly. Seichel, common sense. V'yavinu, and they understood by mikra in the pasuk. In the pasuk. Vayikru b'sefer Torah Elikim. The Gemara explains zem mikra. Okay, so that came from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That came from Sinai. Mefoirash. What is mefoirash? A pirush of the pasuk. Zet targum. So targum seems like over here came from Har Sinai. We know it as Targum Onkelos. So you have to explain that Onkelos just reinstated it. It was there. You see that Ezra is talking about Targum. I just want to point out real quickly that the last few cycles I've been doing Shnai Mikra, I underline in the Targum if I see something interesting. I looked in this week's parasha. I didn't see something like, but last week's parasha it says V'tomer loy imay olai kilalascha bani. Upon me is your klala. So the Targum says olai is amar b'nevuah. I was told in a nevuah the loy lacy levatio. There's not going to be a l'taya. There's not going to be a klala. But the unkelos or the Targum adds. I heard this in a nevuah. Sometimes the Targum adds words and things like that. Okay, fine. What? Oh, a lie. Okay, good. Rosh Tevis. I'm talking about real in the words. Okay, very good. Vayivinu b'mikro. Sorry. V'soim sechel. I'll put a sense. Elu ha-psukim. What does psukim mean? Like this. Rabbi Isai. This was from yesterday's pasuk. I forgot to mention. You'll notice it in this week's parasha. V'rachel ba is pasuk vav. 3 psukim later, it says v'rachel ba, and the emphasis on the beis, not on the aleph, like 3 psukim before. So it means something completely different. We also have alai mesa rachel. What does it mean? Rachel died, or Rachel is going to die? Mesa, the way it is, mesa is she's going to die. So mesa. Okay, fine. Mesa. She already died. She already died. Okay, so it depends where the emphasis is. Great. So pisuk taimim. Sorry, ela psukim. So I'm saying ela psukim. That's where you stop. The 2 dots. That's in this. I got off track. The two dots to show you where the end of a pasuk is, and I said yesterday that's one of the most important things to know where a pasuk stops because it makes a difference in the meaning of the following pasuk. V'yavinu b'mikra, to understand the pasuk. How do you understand the pasuk? It's a pisuk timing. These are the trop. The trop, what else do they call them? The timing. Where to put the comma, the cantillation, where to put the comma, the period, the revi. Sometimes the Vilna Gaon always has his drushes. Why is his darga severe, etc., etc. There's a Gemara in Kedushin Daf Lamed Daled. It says, "Gavre b'yichai, men want to live. Nashi loy b'yichai, women don't want to live." So it's a big chila. What do you mean? Women don't want to live? Well, that's not what the Gemara says. The Gemara says, "Nashi loy b'yichai, they don't want to live." You have to put a question mark. So if you don't read it correctly, you read it with the wrong tune, with the wrong emphasis, so it means something completely different. Nashi loy b'yichai. No, that's not how you read it. Nashi loy b'yichai, women don't want to live. It's a question mark. Okay, so obviously, question marks, periods, commas all make a huge difference in the meaning of the pasuk, and that's why sometimes you have to tell the Balkari to go backwards. I went over to Menachem Atel yesterday, right after Shir. I told him, at the end of the day, you're in Russia. Why? Why can't you at least throw in one mistake once a month? Garnish, the whole year we have to sit there waiting for you to make a mistake. Take away that anah from us. Mamash Rishus. He said, I'll try to help us out. One thing that he does, that the Olam goes crazy and they taka fix him, is Kata inti kaele. Mamish messes it up big time on purpose. That's the one once a year that he does the type. Fine. Says the Gemara. If you hold that taimim is not a doiraisa, the cantillations are not a doiraisa, like Rabbi Yochanan holds. So we have to say that the word, the meaning of the pasuk vayavinu b'mikra is the difference how we have a Messiah on certain words that are read a certain way. We might be able to understand a little bit better from this coming Gemara and Rabbi Yitzchak, Mikra Seifrim, V'iter Seifrim. The Gemara is going to explain every single one. V'karyon v'lo ksivan, what you read and you don't write. Uksivan v'lo karyon, it's written and you don't read it. Halacha l'maish Messinai, here's one, for instance, for a karyon, Isha Sa'ares v'isha acher yish galena. If you read in the Torah, it says it in the red. It says Yud Shin Gimel Lamed Nun Hey. There's no such word really in Hebrew, in Lashon Kodesh, but we read it Yishkavena. It's a completely different word. We read something that doesn't say. All that is halacha l'Moshe Messinai. What does it mean? Mikra Seifrim, Eretz. You could read the word Eretz. It doesn't have Nekudus. You can read it Aretz or Eretz. So to know where to put a segol or a kametz, that you have to have halacha l'Moshe Messinai. Shomayim or Shomayim, Mitzrayim, Mitzrayim. Okay, those kind of, nobody just made it up. This came from Moshe Messinai. Iter Seifrim. What does Iter Seifrim mean? To beautify the language. Achar ta'avayru. There's no reason to have the achar in there. Achar teilech, achar te'asef. Kidmus sarim. Sharim, what does it say here? Sharim, Sharim. Look in the pasuk here. It's Sharim, singers. Right, that's why it wasn't. What? It's Sharim? Okay. Kidmu Sharim, the singers, Achar Noignim. Now it should have said, Kidmu Sharim Noignim. First came the Sharim, then came the players of the instrument. But it uses the word Achar just to beautify it. Sometimes the word is not necessary. Stick it in anyways. Tzidkascha kaharei el. So the kaf, it could have said Tzidkascha harei el. Kihare, just to make it a little nicer. Kari v'lo ksivan. I have a joke here, but I'm going to skip it because we have a lot. No. It's not that good. We'll do it later if we have time. If we have time, at 8 o'clock, Bezer Hashem will say it. Kari v'lo ksivan. Paras develechtoy. Check this out. In this pasuk right over here in Shmuel Beis, the word pras that's highlighted in blue doesn't exist. So we read it, even though we just stick it in. Yoda ben Ahar, the Bakari has to go pros. Well, there's no Bakari, but let's say it was in Haftarah or whatever, pros. Ish, the kasher yishal ish b'dvar elikim, the word ish is missing there, you stick it in. Who? Huh? You missed the word pros. Oh, the V'lechtai, I thought I said it. Okay, in the parsha of V'lechtai, the word pros. Ish the kasher yishal ish b'dvar elikim, Baim, the word Baim, the V'nivnisa, La, the Pleita from the parsha Pleita, Es, the Hugad, The word S is missing. Eli da Hagarin, the word Eli is missing. Eli da Sairim. Halain, these are examples of things that you read, even though they're not written mafurish in the Navi. Uksiva v'loy karyan, and what do you have? An example that it's actually in the pasuk, but we don't say it at all. No, the Yislach. Here's the example. It says here in the pasuk, Yislach no Hashem la'avdecha. We don't read it. It's there. The word Nun Aleph is there. We read Yislach Hashem la'avdecha. We just skip that word. Now they ask the obvious question. This is all from Navi. So how could it be Allah Moshe Sinai? What? Moshe Rabbeinu? Some want to say that yes, the idea of the Navi was already given to him. Okay, Ayin Sham. Top of Lamed Ches Amud Aleph. Zois, the Hamitzvah, you don't read it even though it's there. Yidrech, the Hatorah, you don't read the word Yidrech. Chamesh, the Pas Negev, you don't read the word Chamesh. Im, the Chigoyel, the word Im, you don't read. Halain, these are examples of Ksavan v'lo Karyon, Ksivan v'lo Karyon. They're written, but we don't read it. You have this pasuk right over here. It's one giant long pasuk, Perikut Tes, pasuk Tes. It's one pasuk. But there are some, since you just said that the two dots that indicate that it's a safe pasuk, that's Halacha Moshe Sinai. There are some that say that this pasuk is actually 3 psukim. I just showed you how it could do. Is another pasuk. Is a third pasuk. How did Moshe Rabbeinu become very wealthy? You see, when Klal Yisrael took the biza of Mitzrayim, when they were looting Mitzrayim, Moshe Rabbeinu was busy with something else. What he was busy with? The bones of Yosef. What exactly happened when Klal Yisrael was taking the loot from the Yam Suf? He was busy also with something. I don't know what. The bottom line is, he didn't have money from that. So how did he become wealthy? The luchos was made out of sapphire. So take a look at this. Assuming that a tefach is 8 centimeters, then the luchos had 55,296 cubic centimeters. So check this out. If you are a diamond dealer, it's 971,000 carats. That's how big the luchos were. And Moshe Rabbeinu, Mendy goes, wow, because he has the right to say, wow. It's 194 kilo times 2.2. Do the math. It's 428 pounds of a sapphire. He was supposed to carve it out. So all the leftovers, all the pieces, you can imagine that was hundreds of millions of dollars, whatever that is. Great. So that's how he became wealthy. The Akash Baruch Hu gave him a piece of sapphire. He wakes up in the morning and the sapphire is in his tent. He took the sapphire, carved it out, he got to keep it all. What do you see from here? What? No. He told him what to do. He tells him, you should carve it out. Like the first one. Now, all you see from here is a very, very simple, obvious yesod, that if a person puts his entire bitachon on HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he doesn't have to go run after the loot of Mitzrayim, he doesn't have to get there. The loot will come to him, will come literally to his house. Like I said over the story many times, this was an invented story in Chicago, but a guy from Tifrach came to collect money in Chicago, as all the guys come, but he was different. He didn't go to a single door. He sat in these measures from morning to evening until Chaim Reichenbach and some of the boys went over to him and said, who are you? What are you doing here? He says, I'm here from Eretz Yisrael. I came to collect money. Rabbi Vezer Pilt sent me, but I don't know what to do and how to do it. So I'm staying in the base measures. They went, they came back, gave him a check for $50,000 and sent him on his merry way. That was a maisa. Like they did a quick, what do you call it? A parlor meeting, and in 10 minutes they raised 10 times more than he would ever raise if he went from door to door. Because if you have a complete bitachon HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I'm not saying that that's what a person should do, but it was an interesting story. Next, Omer Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Chanina. What? It was in the Reichenbach Koilel, Ayin Sham. Actually, no, I think it was in the Lakewood Community Koilel. These things, just like we learn how to daven from Chana. But it doesn't mean that if you say the exact words that she says, you're going to get answered. You have to be original. He was original. The next second guy that comes in and does the same thing, they go back to Tifrach. You know what I'm saying? Omer Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Chanina, le'nin the Torah el Moshe leZaroi. So comes Rabbi Chanina. Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Chanina says an interesting thing. The Torah was only given to Moshe. What does that mean? Shenebar ksav lecha, psal lecha, ma psalazin shelcha. Just like the leftover, the luchas is your personal belonging. Ksavam shelcha. The words are also yours. Says Gemara, but no, Moshe Nagba Toivas Ayin, he was very large and generous. When suddenly Yisrael on his own, he gave it to Klai Yisrael. This good-hearted, natured person, he should be blessed. How could it be? Hashem told me to teach Klai Yisrael. It's not for my own goodwill. Says the Gemara, first, he commanded me. And I decided on my own will. Again, a problem. Hashem told me to teach Klai Yisrael. Oh, we can sing the song here, but we have to start very, very low, Nachman. You want to start? Yeah, but low.
Es ashir hazor Elam Yisrael My leading the Siyurim Zanini v'akosho B'netzon arot hatorah kedosho ischaneni v'akosho ischaneni v'akosho
Shkoyach v'ato kisvu lochem es ashir hazois. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu was telling Moshe Rabbeinu, write the Shira. So you have to write it all down. It's not Moshe Rabbeinu that's doing us a favor. It says Gemara Shira lechuda hazinu, V'lamda is b'nei Yisrael. This Shira you have to teach Klai Yisrael. V'lamda is b'nei Yisrael. I don't know if I ever knew the words. So now I have it on the screen. Great. Hashira lechuda. No, teach Hazinu, teach the Shira, whatever the Shira is, but not the whole Torah. So if Torah, here's the question: if what the Shira is a testimony that Klai Yisrael broke what they were supposed to keep, but if they're only getting the Shira, what were they supposed to keep? Obviously, they were supposed to keep the rest of the Torah, all the mitzvahs. Ella says the Gemara Pilpula ba'alma. When Moshe Rabbeinu taught Klai Yisrael was the pilpul. So there's a very, very chashav rush here. I think it's important to see it inside. Dibra maskil pilpula ba'alma. So the rush says, Havana v'charifos v'hainu kisman shekha. Ki kol ha-chachma, says the rush, all the chachma. What's the next word? V'aseichel. Next, remuzim b'chsav ha-Torah b'tzuras ha-oisiyos. So Rosh says an unbelievable insight. The entire, all chachma, all seichel, all your common sense, all chachma of the world, everything is hinted within the words of the Torah. Many examples from all different gedolim, from all different generations. The Vilna Gaon said you could see every mitzvah from the first word Bereshis, and then they asked him, "What do you see?" Pidyon haben, and he showed the Pidyon haben. Fine, but the point is, and the Maharsha explains that, of course, Klai Yisrael had mitzvahs. That wasn't the Havamin of the Gemara. Klai Yisrael had all the mitzvahs, and that's why we had Matan Torah. But the question of the Gemara was, what about the learning part, the mitzvah to learn the Torah? Maybe that was only given to Moshe Rabbeinu. And the Gemara says, no, even learning was given to all Klai Yisrael. The pilpul, whatever that means, a certain level of understanding, the depth of Torah, that was given to Moshe Rabbeinu alone, and he decided to share it with Klai Yisrael. Omar, Rabbi Yochanan. Ein HaKadosh Baruch Hu Masher Shechinasoi, Ella, listen to this. HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't rest his Shechina on a person, Ella, Al Gibar, he has to be strong, Va'asher, and very wealthy, V'chacham, and very smart, very wise, va'anav, and very humble. And I know that a lot of you are thinking to yourselves, wow, I'm 3 for 4. If I only had Ashiros, I would have that unbelievable Hashros Hashchina. I chap what you guys are thinking. Gewaldig.
Eli, what if you're on so great?
It's unbelievable. You'll have to dress that on Rosh Chodesh Adar. I want to know if your anova is so strong, could it compensate for your Ashiros? I don't know. It's a good shaila. Zog the Gemara. Oh, so my chavrusa asked me right when we were learning this. He says, "Wait a minute, because he's holding in all of these mesechas, because he's doing all these chazars." He says in Shabbos, it says that the fourth thing is not anova; it's height. You have to be tall. So it says on the side here. Then we found in the Mesilas Shas. He says, "Ayin sham u'mitzvah liyashiv." It's a mitzvah to explain all these things. In order to be a leader, you have to be strong, you have to be wealthy, you don't want to be influenced by other people with people giving you bribes. You see Shol, Shichmai Mevmala, this is not the sugya, but he was taller than everybody. Height. People, the Chavetz Chaim was very short, but in general,
And he had no money.
no money, but he's a big chacham and anav. Okay, you see? That answers your question. Wow. Okay. He's talking about Nevi'us, yeah. But not every Navi had a... We'll see. We see this idea from Moshe Rabbeinu. Take a look at this picture. This is the Mishkan, and he put that bad on top. Moshe Rabbeinu Prasa, he did it himself. Now it was very tall. It was 20 feet tall. 10 amas, approximately 20 feet. So Moshe Rabbeinu had to be that tall. So the Gemara understands, if you see like a serious football player, I don't know, a tall NBA player, you understand he's pretty strong. Don't start up with him. Nobody starts up with a big giant guy. The stomach is very strong because he's very tall. So the Gemara, no. Maybe he's very tall. He's like minut ball. I don't know, like a tall Lakshan. But you go like this and he blows over. Maybe he's very weak. We can learn from somewhere else. Now we just said, how much did those luchas weigh? 490, if you do the simple math, almost 500 pounds a luach. He was able to lift 1,000 pounds and just toss it. Do 6 by 6 by 3, and therefore we know they were very heavy. Ashir, whatever the material was, whether it's diamond, sapphire, whatever the thing was, it was very heavy. Ashir. How do you know that he was wealthy? The leftover is yours. Chacham, how do you know he's smart? Rabbi Shmuel Damar Tavayu, Chamishim Shari Bino Nivru Ba'olam. There was 50 levels of understanding, of wisdom. V'kula nitnu l'Moshe chaser achas. He had 49 out of the 50. Shenemar v'tachzireu ma'at me'elokim. The understanding is that he didn't understand HaKadosh Baruch Hu completely. That's one thing that he was missing. But Akopanim, he had 49. So he had a lot of chachma. Anav, d'chsiv, v'yish Moshe anav ma'id. Just I thought, when I looked up the pasuk, I noticed that in this pasuk we also have a kriyim ksiv. It says anav without a yud. We read it with a yud. Fine, but Kalpan and Moshe Rabbeinu was the greatest anav. All Nevi'im were wealthy. So these are the 4 Nevi'im that we know that were very wealthy. I never borrowed, I never rented a donkey from anybody. If he just grew, the Gemara, he didn't take, huh?
You know the future is not that tricky to be rich.
Why? Oh, well, that's another question. At the end of the day, Moshe Rabbeinu had nevuah before he got all that money. Okay, before the luchas. Well, if he didn't pay for it, what? We're saying that Moshe Rabbeinu wasn't a ganav. So obviously, we're talking about that he paid. Even paying, even renting, he never had to rent. Why? Because he had his own. Says the Gemara, maybe not. Maybe he was so poor, he couldn't even afford rent. Okay, like we said before, he had the leftover of the diamonds, of the sapphire. Sultan, Shmuel, how do you know Shmuel was wealthy? I didn't take anybody's ox. If the pasuk is saying that you have to say that Shmuel wasn't a ganav. He didn't even have to rent. Maybe he was poor. Wherever he went, that's where his house was. What does it mean? Where he went, he used to schlep all his belongings. Exactly how you see from here that he's wealthy is not 100% understood. The bottom line is, if somebody doesn't need to come out to anybody else, he's self-sufficient, never has to come out to anybody, that's wealth. But he was wealthy. Shmuel in this area was greater than Moshe. I just realized, I think in another place also says Shmuel was greater than Moshe in something, not in this, something else maybe. That Moshe Rabbeinu, okay, he didn't even rent. Shmuel, he didn't take a donkey. Even if the person came over and said, please do me a favor, Navi, please take it for me. No, he wouldn't do it. Almost how do you know that he was wealthy? I'm not in the business of nevuah. I have a lot of cattle. Uboiles shikmim. Here's shikmim. This is a sycamore. B'kitzur, he was a boiles. Boiles is a lashon of boilesh. So it's interesting. The Ran explains, I've never seen this. He had a speech impediment. And instead of saying boilesh, which is detective, he used to check the sycamores, he said it boiles, like a litvak. That's how Rav Shach used to talk. He said sin, a lot of sin. From Litta, that's how they said sin. So he said boiles. And the Navi imitates him. It's interesting. I've never, so what if he had a speech impediment? Say the word he was trying to say. No. Uboiles. Because that's how he said it, that's how we're going to write it. Agobanim, you see that he was wealthy. He had all this cattle. He had a ranch. He had a lot of trees. Of Yosef, I have cattle. I know. I have a lot of sycamores in the valley. Fine. Yoina. How do you know Yoina was wealthy? When he wanted to catch the ship, the cruise ship, he gets on there. It holds 5,000 people. There's only 3.5 people on there. He says, we got to go. He said, well, we're waiting for all the people to come. He says, how much is it? $3.5 million. Let's go. Here's $3.5 million. We go. So you see, he's very wealthy. Private charter plane, 747, took the whole thing for one trip. Fine. Sorry. He paid for the whole thing. How much is it? To have 4,000 golden coins. We can understand that's a lot of money. He tried to figure out remember the entire Torah, everything, but he forgot it until it was given to him as a gift. It's given to him. Let me ask you a question, Rabbi Isai. Why in the world did Moshe Rabbeinu try to remember the Torah? It's impossible to remember the Torah in 40 days. It's so vast, it's so large. Why did he try? The answer is obvious. The only way you could achieve that gift is by showing Hashem that you're trying 100%. You put your whole thing into it. You say, I am going to learn it. I'm going to learn about Peh. I can't. I'm doing it. Once you do it, then you get a gift from Hashem. Says the Heilige Mission, the official mission sponsor in Schus. A person is mudar ana from his friend. He says, that guy cannot benefit from me. Reuven can't benefit from me. Yet, even though Reuven can't benefit from him, Shimon has the right to give parnasa to the wife, give her food. V'ez banov. Yeah. Avapi shuchayiv b'mezaynaisam. I didn't say in schus of continue atzlach and limud Torah. I did. Okay, I'll say it twice. Now I don't have to say it the second time. Avapi shuchayiv b'mezaynaisam. Even though the husband must support at least his wife, and sometimes even the daughter, if it comes from a divorce, or she's under 6 years old, he's chayiv to support. So Reuven is saving every day $10 for not having to support his own wife and child. Comes the neighbor and supports him. Reuven is not allowed to benefit from Shimon. Over here he's allowed to. Why? The Ran holds, it goes like Hanan, but the Ran is l'shitase always, that everybody agrees over here, because he has kavana to do a mitzvah, and it just happens as a side effect that he's giving a gift to the wife, and the wife, instead of suing her husband, she doesn't sue the husband, but it's a grama more. But you're not allowed to feed that guy's animal. Since that guy can't benefit from you, by you feeding the animal, it's a direct benefit. Whether it's a donkey or it's a cow. You're allowed to give food to the donkey. As hatorah. So it goes like this. What's the difference? That you get to eat a fat animal. So here you see the difference. You have a fat cow. If I fatten the cow, says the Ran, we're not talking about the initial food, the basic food. We're talking about the added food, the dessert, the second portion that the animal doesn't need to survive and sustain itself. The second food is to do what? To fatten the cow. To fatten the cow is a problem because who has direct benefit from a fat cow? The owner. Now he can sell for more money per pound. But to fatten the guy's dog, a behemoth tomato doesn't do anything for the guy. Adarabba, it ruins it. Now his dog is lazy. His ox is not going to be able to plow the field. So that you shouldn't do. You shouldn't be mefanik a dog and a behemoth tomato. Huh? Ox. Oh, that's a behemoth Torah, yeah. Utmeya, I'm saying whatever. The donkey. Utmeya, thank you. Utmeya, nafshe v'gufa l'shamayim. In other words, there's no benefit from you can't eat the meat of a donkey. Omer Loi. We just turned to Amud Beis by Yankel Cohen, and also the official who happens to be the official MDY MSP. And l'schus being able to support limud hatorah and to finish shas with Reb Eli. Even a non-kosher animal, you could have benefit from the meat. You could sell it to McDonald's for burgers. The dog could eat his friend's dog meat. I guess they're not so makbid. Once the dog is dead, he doesn't care where it came from. So there's benefit. Here's a beautiful, brand new drawing from Yoshi. We're going to be using this chasen character for the rest of the shas. That's you see, he's about to break a glass. He's holding a ring. He has a white, chasen Litvish chasen has a white tie. So he has a white tie that has a little bit of MDY in it. And here's the shver on the right side. Now check this out. This took me 4 hours to figure out. I'm not joking. At least 4 hours, back and forth and back. We already used this, and we had it in a different way, and people complained. I think this is just very simple. Less words, very simple. The shver in this case can't give anything, any benefit or anything to the chasen. He's mudar anah, like Rebbe Kiva, where he was mudar anah from his daughter. The arrow goes this way. Yeah, kal b'svua. So that's kal b'svua, mudar anah from the daughter, not the chasen. The shver is saying, you see, he's saying something. It goes this way. I cannot benefit you. I can't give you. The arrow is going this way. So the chasen cannot benefit from his future father-in-law. Why and how doesn't really matter right now. He said it this way, he said it that way. The point is, no, going from the fat guy to the skinny guy. Great. Hare, Havibo, Rebbe Zera, B'mayaskin. What are we talking about? If it's talking about this case right over here, that the shver aser, the stuff on the chasen, that it can't go to the direction of the chasen, Hare, Moiser loy, Shivcha l'shamshoy. This is a very, very harsh lashon. Very harsh. I want to explain it though, for all the women and wives that are listening in the background or in the front ground. I don't know, whatever it is. The point is, the Gemara is saying that a person has to appreciate his wife. A wife, not only she's a wife, we had the Gemara in Ksubis that the Gemara calls a person's sister a shivcha. In other words, when a wife does other stuff like laundry, cleaning, cooking, she brings something to the table that the husband doesn't have without her. A person has to think to himself, what would I be without my wife? Who would do my laundry? Who would clean? Who would cook? Who would take care of the kids? So the Gemara calls it, it's a strong lashon, the Gemara calls it a shivcha. In other words, the father is giving huge benefit to the chasen. Now the chasen also gives huge benefit back, but that's called something else. Says the Gemara. But at the end of the day, how could the chasen, in this case, you see the chart, the chasen is not allowed to receive anything from the father-in-law. He just received a shivcha. He just received somebody that's going to cook for him and do his dishes. Says the Gemara, Elo, b'nichsei chasen asurim alavi kala. Check out the chart. I love. It goes from the chasen to the shver. The chasen says you cannot, he can't give anything to the shver. He's not allowed to give any anah to the shver. So, says the Gemara, and in this case, what? Thank you. Thanks for the help. What's the chiddush that this guy, what is he doing? This guy is taking care of the shver's daughter. From now on, the shver doesn't have to pay $10 a day in child support, in food. The chassan is, even though he's not allowed to give anything to the shver, he's taking his daughter into his possession and he's giving her food. He just saved the big guy $10 a day. It's also, he's not allowed to give anything to the shver. He says, Gemara, what are you talking about? The Mishnah says, I'm allowed to go into the shver's house while the shver has a daughter in the living room. I'm allowed to give her money. Even if I don't marry her, I'm allowed to go into a guy's house, in anybody's house. If I'm mudar enough from you, I can go into your house and give food to your kids. Your kids and you are not. So certainly, I'm allowed to take that kid out of your house and feed that kid. If in your house, I'm allowed to go in, so certainly out of the house. Says the Gemara, so you have to go back to this case. The simple, the shver cannot give to the chassan. We're talking about an older girl who gets married on her own. She doesn't need her father at all. She's not giving her any hand. No. It's not like, oh, I'm giving you somebody that's going to do your dishes. It's not yours to give. She's 25 years old. She has her own das. So then what's the problem? So then what's the chiddush? He didn't give her anything. So then what's going on here? But at the end of the day, so the Rishonim say that the chassan asked the father-in-law to convince her. Is the chassan allowed to ask a guy that he's not allowed to benefit from anything, convince your daughter to marry me? Fine. Let's just finish this. There's a story here, but let's try to get to the Mishnah because Moshe Shabbos I want to start from a Mishnah. Oh, come on. Why do you have to do that? I try to skip. Okay, fine. Kidding. Yeah, we want to finish that. If somebody cannot benefit from his friend. Also, lastly, he's not allowed to marry off his daughter. You're not allowed to give him a young girl, but a begeres, yes. Here we have a picture. Over here it goes like this. The father says that the child is not going to give him any anah. I want that child to grow up to be a galadar. You are not going to mow my lawn. You're not going to do sponge in my house. You're not going to do anything for me. Why? Because I want you to concentrate on learning Torah. So in this case, the child, again, it doesn't matter that the father said it. Taking out all the confusion here. The child can give benefit to the father. Mutar, but the child is still, nevertheless, small things like filling up a cup of water, that wasn't part of his neder. Kid is allowed to do that. He's allowed to give him a small fish, nothing. He's allowed to give him koshel shalom. What does that mean, my new? We learned that the aval drinks 10 cups of wine. He's allowed to give him one. It's not his own. He gives him from over there. So he's not giving him much. When somebody comes out of the mikvah or the bathhouse, he's supposed to drink some water. So he gives him water, not his own water, from the mikvah water. He gives him a cup of dirty water. He's allowed to support the person's slaves. But he shouldn't support the animals. My timer. Manachrusa, we learned the chulin is a lotion of, I don't want to show myself, but basically you cut from the chin down. It's a way to show that this animal is treif, we're not eating it. You can't benefit from a slave. You're not going to eat his meat. You're not a cannibal. So he's a manachrusa, he's worthless. His meat is worthless. Behema, lipituma avida, but you can't feed your friend's animal because you're benefiting him. Have a wonderful day. A good Shabbos.